What do you do when you have a small offensive line? And it seems like almost all of us have a small offensive line, smaller than we'd like. So you're putting together your playbook, you're getting ready for the season, and you're looking at the guys that you have up front. When you start to look at those guys, they're never quite as big as you want them to be. You're always looking for some more size, and maybe you got some big guys, but they're not nearly as athletic as they need to be, especially when you're working with younger guys. Big guys tend to be kind of immobile. They tend to be not have developed into their bodies a lot when they're freshman JV level. So what do you do when you have an offensive line that is just undersized? First of all, a lot of guys will say like you should run the spread. And I just don't agree with that. I think that in order to run a complete offense, the spread, you don't have to. I don't want to say that, but I want to be able to throw the football. And if I go to a spread, I've got less guys to protect. It starts to get a little more complicated. So I don't think the automatic answer is the spread. There's spread principles, but you don't just go, 5 wide and say, oh, there we go. Now you got to protect with 5. So there's some things to think about. There's other things that I'm not going to talk about in this video, which include option. Okay. One thing is the option. And I'm looking at this from a standpoint of what can you do that's fairly simple in your offense with your smaller guys, particularly within the confines of a system, and options not simple. It's obviously easy to say, hey, you got a small offensive line, just don't block one or two of those guys. But then you've got to teach your quarterback to run the option. And so that's complicated in itself, and you've got to have an option quarterback. Now you go from, well, I got a small offensive line, and I don't have an option quarterback. What am I going to do? We're going to look at some things that you can do to help a smaller offensive line. This is going to be 5 keys for coaching with a small offensive line. Number 1, run gap schemes. Everybody talks about small offensive line. You run the wing T. Yeah, you can run the wing T. The wing T is a whole new system. But the wing T, the basis of the wing T, and the reason the wing T works with small offensive linemen is not because you've got a winged T. It's because you're running gap blocking schemes as your primary blocking scheme. What gap schemes do is they create angles. So when we talk about gap schemes, it means we're going to block down, kick out, wrap to the linebacker, power. Some people think power, what's a power running play? Well, in the name, yes, but it's a gap scheme. We block down, we always get a double at the point of attack, we kick out and wrap. That's the base play in the pistol power offense system that's a part of JDFB Insiders. And you can check that out at pistolpoweroffensesystem.com. There's a link down in the description below. Well, power is a gap scheme, just like buck sweep, just like inside trap. All of those plays are great plays when you're running with smaller guys. Counter is the same thing. Our counters block the exact same way as our power. It's basically one play or at least one blocking scheme for you to put in. Number 2, quick passing game. Get the ball out. Help your guys out. So there's 2 reasons for this. Number 1 is obviously it's going to really help in pass protection. You have smaller guys. You're worried about them being able to protect. Throw the football. Get the ball out in about 1.3 seconds. I love seeing a quarterback that can catch and throw, no laces. Bang, get the ball out there on a hitch. Because that means my guys are going to be able to protect that. Everybody up front anybody can protect that. We can all handle this. If the ball's getting out in 1.3, 1.8, anything like that, it's going to help. So quick passing game, hitches, slants, fades are going to really help. And even in your 5-step game, you've got to teach your quarterback to get the ball out in a hurry. One of the evils of 7-on-7 is that 4-second clock that everybody does. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will never ask our offensive line to protect for 4 seconds. Now, in practice, we protect for 7 seconds on everything that we do in our drill work, but it's on the quarterback to get that ball out. I'll clock him in 2.8, 3 seconds, tell him to get the ball out on time, because the reality is that's going to help his offensive line, and a 4-second clock is too long. Number 3, use shoulder blocking. Shoulder blocking is generally associated with the wing T. We don't run a wing T, but we do run a lot of gap scheme. We also run a zone scheme. We basically run gap and zone in the pistol power offense system, and we shoulder block all of it. This is something I got from Coach Lou Johnston, who is a wing T coach here in Virginia and a legendary coach. Coach Johnston teaches basically to block with that big surface. Okay, I talk about the chest, the bicep, the forearm, getting that in there, kind of like a flipper on a block destruct, getting that into the guy. And what I've seen with this is we're relatively undersized, and we are not strong in the bench press, especially the last couple of years when we've had a very young offensive line. We don't have a strong bench press, but with one good offseason, we're able to significantly increase the squat and the power clean. So we have a lot of hip strength. We have a lot of leg strength. We don't have a lot of upper body strength. So we took that weak link out. If your guys will do this, it will also help them to get into a guy with better leverage because of their contact points coming off lower. We're not blocking with the top of the shoulder. That's what a lot of people think. It's your flat back running with the shoulder kind of, in the guy. We're blocking with the chest, and actually everything else as far as the footwork stays the exact same footwork that I learned, going to Jim McNally clinics. It's all the same, and you'll find that a lot of coaches are using this in their zone combos. We just expanded it, and even in Division I football, they're using this in their zone combos. We just expanded it to everything. And if you're worried about being able to stay on the block, they shouldn't have to stay on the block very long if your run game is timing up right. Number 4, use your speed. Assuming that your guys are small and still athletic, then use your speed to get to the edge, and this is the stretch play. The stretch play I love because we can get out there and run and spread the edge, and we spread the defense out without, again, it's not spread offense, but we're spreading the defense out by getting our offensive lineman running and then giving our back a couple of rules so that he can cut on it. We're going to use our athleticism in that way. Also run a toss play where we pull the lineman out there to get out in front and lead for him. So look for ways to use your speed and athleticism to get on the perimeter. Another one that you can use is screen game, where you're going to be releasing those linemen out to block for them. All of those things will really help to give your smaller offensive linemen the advantage that they have of using their speed. And number 5, simplify. Keep it simple. Coach simple, play fast, win. That's the motto, JDFB Insiders, JoeDanielFootball.com. Pistol Power Offense System, PistolPowerOffense.com. That is the motto. Keep it simple. If your guys are undersized, they can still win the battle with great execution. You see a lot of teams, again, I come back to the wing T. We don't run a wing T, but what are the great wing T teams? What do? They run the wing T. They don't change the offense every year. We keep a very simple blocking scheme up front. 2 base blocking schemes. We run our gap scheme, which is power and counter, our zone scheme, which is inside zone, outside zone. Those 2 things are the foundation of your offense, and you get great at those. As long as your guys know who to block, the footwork, the proper footwork for getting there, how to adjust when the defense starts messing with you, really almost anyone can get up there and block. They don't have to be big mammoth guys if we're running with great timing, can get the ball out quickly in quick game. If the ball's out in 1.8 seconds, almost anyone can protect that long. But you've got to keep a simple system where your guys aren't missing blocks or confused or timid coming off the line. They can come off the line with all that, whatever butt they've got, get into that guy, move your feet, hit him with the proper angles, and if you're timing it up in the backfield correctly, not making them stay on the blocks very long. So simplify your offense. Don't run a ton of plays. Let your guys get great at what it is that you do. Okay, so those are my 5 tips for working with smaller offensive linemen. If you've got some other things that have really worked for your team with undersized offensive linemen, post them down in the comments. Let me know what you think, or let me know what on this list you think is total garbage. I didn't mention some other things like sprint out game, where you can just make it easier on your guys. And I also think that some sort of passing attack is critical, because when you're undersized and they start putting 9 guys in the box, you're going to really struggle. So all of these things are going to go together. But I'd love to hear what you guys do to help your smaller offensive linemen succeed. If you like this video, remember to like and also subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future videos that will be coming out. And over here, you'll see a couple of other videos related to offensive line play that you're going to want to check out as well. Thanks for watching. Remember to visit JoeDanielFootball.com and check out the Pistol Power Offense system at PistolPowerOffense.com. Links down below in the description.